There you go. Has anyone ever used a custom GPT? No. Rianne says no. Cam says no. Use one for legal content. Okay. No, no. Ria has. Muhammad has. Okay. So what I want to do right now is actually go into my chat GPT and build a custom GPT for business planning. Okay. So the benefit of this is being able to actually hone down on what your GPT does. Okay. It's like you're giving it instructions and this is what it needs to follow. Period. Okay. Very different from using just the thread on ChatGPT, because if you are a person that uses just the free account, you're using a GPT, you'll probably get some answers saying, you've used up the amount of threads on this space, you need to create a new chat. But going back to the issue that the chats do not talk, right? This thread doesn't communicate with this thread. ChatGPT as a whole may have a memory, but it's not saving all the information from the one thread. The benefit that you have is to actually create a custom GPT that'll do exactly what you need it to do based off of what you need, okay? Based off of what you're doing. So I'm going to go over here and I want to prompt this GPT to create the best business plan I could ever create, right? And so when I'm doing this, I'm going to use it in a way where let's think about terms that if I don't know how to use GPT, I don't know what I'm doing, this is what I would say to it to do. I would tell it to become the best business plan writer out there. I'm gonna pick on Cam for a second. Cam, who are some great HR resume writers, business plan people, companies that you know of that do this
Reed Hoffman.
well?
Reed Hoffman from LinkedIn.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah. You can also pull info from Michelle Lenore, executive business coach
Okay.
off LinkedIn.
So I'm going to tell my chat builder, I want you to act as an all-star business developer, pulling from your experience or expertise. Ah, ah, he's kicking me. Oh. Pulling from your experience working for, and I'm going to copy and paste that. These names here. Oh, your dad's home. Thank God. Okay. Reed Hoffman, Michelle Lenore, and was this Verna Myers?
Yes.
Verna Myers. To help me create business plans and scale from 0 to 1. Okay, I'm gonna hit enter. The reason why you set these parameters is because you want the GPT to then pull in that experience, right? If I'm creating a software, if I'm creating anything, I want you to pull from the top companies in the world. I want you to pull from the people that are actually doing this work so that when I generate what I've got going on, I got that same type of experience. Does that make sense? 0 to 1. So you're starting at 0. You have nothing. I have a concept. I have an idea. This may work. This may not work, but I don't know where to go from there. 1 would be getting me to an actual prototype, a working model, some services, things of that nature. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right. All-Star Business Builder. Does that name work? Yes, we like it. Yes. Okay. It's going to keep doing its thing. It's going to keep updating. It's going to give itself a profile picture, creating its own identity. And while it's doing that, the next things I think about is what do I want it to do? It's probably going to ask you something like, would you like to make any adjustments? It's going to ask you about your tone of voice. How do you want the outputs to be? Okay. Hold on. Okay. All right. What should we emphasize? What's our approach? Cam, what's our approach?
Our approach is basically building some HR policies so people don't get sued.
Okay, so we're going to keep it formal and professional, giving it a tone of voice, right? What do you want its output to be? Is it supposed to be friendly if it's a business plan? No, it needs to be very concise, very to the point. Okay, keep it formal and professional. It's going to keep updating.
Just side note, I didn't know that they could create an image like that. I'm going to do that on mine.
Mm-hmm. So ChatGPT also has functionalities with like Dolly and other image creators. So if you needed to create an image and you were just using ChatGPT, you could. But of course, I have better tools than Chat. So getting started, use it. But I'll show you some different ones that you can use to create image generation. All right. Would you like any specific methodologies, frameworks to focus on? Lean startup, blitz scaling, design thinking. Do you know what any of these words mean?
I do know what blitz scaling means. That basically means you don't have everything together, but it's enough for the public to still operate on. Design thinking, yes, but not lean startup.
Okay. Anyone else? Do you know what these words mean? Because I don't, right? And because I don't know what the words mean, I'm gonna do what? Am I gonna go to Google? Nah. I'm gonna head to another GPT. I'm gonna head to a different AI actually. And I'm gonna go over to Perplexity and I'm gonna ask it, what is this? Perplexity is my research AI. Okay. Perplexity's researching model is way better than Chat's, and I stand on it. Okay. You see how it's giving you the answer? It's giving you very concise what this business does, and it's actually pulling the sources it's coming from. Very different from what ChatGPT does, right? So based on what we know from what a lean model is, yep, it tells you how it thinks and where it's coming from. Chat does this to a point, but not as good as Perplexity does. Okay, and that's perplexity.ai if you don't know what this one is. Okay, so lean startup, blitz scaling, design thinking. Maybe I like it all. I'm that type of person. I just do all of it, right? So I'll tell Chat, give me a combination. Combo. Spell, Kayla. Of them all. And I'll tell it for each business, decide the best route. Okay. Very clear parameters of what it needs to do. Truthfully, you don't have to spell check with ChatGPT, but I graduated from Spelman College and there's no way. There's no way I'm going to send in correct words unless I'm like really rushing. Okay. So make sure you're giving the right inputs to it so they can give you the best output. I'm telling it to decide the best route because what if I have a different business I want to build a plan for? What if it's a different business that I'm coming in and I need to actually evaluate, as it's saying? I'll evaluate each business individually and apply the best strategy to its needs. Do you have any final refinements? Based on what we're doing right now, is there anything from you guys' experience that we should make sure this chat does? What do you want to make sure it does for business development? How is it going to help businesses scale? And you can drop it in the chat. You can say it out loud, whatever works. If not, I'm going to keep going. I like that. That's creative value letter. Updating his thinking. The beautiful part about this, and just because you guys are in this group, once I'm done with this GPT, I'm going to drop the link in the chat and you can use it for yourself. You can share your custom GPTs with others. This is something that we've done with our clients for, nonprofits that come in, they've got multiple programs, they don't know what to do. We'll take all their information, we'll configure it to a custom chat GPT, we'll build it for them and we'll give them the link, right? So instead of you copying and pasting from multiple documentations, XYZ, you'll be able to use it. Do you have to be on the paid plan to use a custom GPT? Yes. Do you have to be on a paid plan to use this link that I'm going to give you? No. Lucky for you, I've paid it for you. Hey, Kim, didn't see you in here. Okay. Anything else you want to refine? So incorporated customer value letters, those are there. All right. So the next thing that I want to show you is this. So that's the create. That's you talking to ChatGPT to create the custom GPT. But when you go to configure, there's more power here. So basically everything that we just talked to the chat about, it put in its instructions here. Okay. Step by step outlining offers, XYZ, blah, blah. But this is what I want you to pay attention to, the knowledge base. Once you create something, let's say you're making a custom GPT for your business, you're making a custom GPT for your kids, whatever it may look like, you can upload documents that the GPT will read. Pro tip, PDFs are not always the best. Download the document, the actual docx, Word doc, Google Doc, whatever it may be, and put that into the GPT. Chat has a hard time reading PDFs. Haven't figured out what that's about yet. Hopefully they figure it out soon. But documents would be best to upload here. So anything that you want the business to know, let's say you had I've even gone so far as to upload textbooks to the GPT for it to read, right? The idea is that you're training the business, the training the AI on what you need it to do. Okay. And on this side, it's just a preview. If you wanted to preview it here, you can do so. I have done things where if I'm creating it for a particular client, I would ask it a question, see if it gave me the right output. And if it did not, I would go back to create and adjust. Does that make sense? No matter what you create in ChatGPT, if you want to update it, you can. So I'm going to hit create right now. I'm going to make sure that's on with anyone with the link. So I'm going to give it to you so you can have it. And I'm going to save it. And then voila. Voila. Boom. There it is. It didn't work the way I wanted it to. I'm going to drop this link in the chat for you because we just created it together and you should have it too. But let's work on this together. All right. So we said that we were going to create a business plan for a coaching business, right? And because, it's my mommy, I'm going to use her prompt. She's doing a youth coaching business with an emphasis on self-esteem, confidence, and college readiness. You see how she gets me each time? I'm just doing the work for her. It's all right. So I'm going to tell it, create another pro tip. Instead of telling the chat to create something for you as far as a document, tell it to either one, give you the questions it needs to create the best document, right? So I would say, I need whatever questions you need to create me the best business plan, and I will answer those questions. Or I would say something along the lines of create an outline for this business. I'll go back. All right. I'm going to ask it to create me an outline. The reason I don't want it to create me a full-fledged business plan is because I don't know exactly what I want in this business plan. I don't know exactly what it's supposed to do. But if I have what the outline is supposed to be, I can better construct what I tell the chat to do. Does that make sense? Does everybody understand that point? You want to prompt it before you give it what to do. So even though it understands exactly what it needs to do, you're still giving it a new task, right? You're telling it, I want it to create a business plan for this type of business. Before I actually go into that, I want to know what the outline looks like. What do I need to have to give chat? Because if I just said created a business plan, it would give me a fake market, it would give me a fake revenue model. All of these are questions that you need to have for yourself as a business owner. Okay. These are answers that you need to be able to give the chat. Okay. You don't want to rely solely on AI to make things happen. And let me say this again. Okay. Once again, between you and the computer, you are the smart one. The computer's only doing what you tell it to do. The same goes for AI. So if you're saying just create me a business plan, cool. It's going to pull from whatever it knows, whatever lane or avenue it is, and create you a business plan. Is it going to be accurate? Probably not. Okay. Is it going to mean something to you? Maybe, but at the end of the day, you'll still have work to do. So save yourself the time and actually give it ask it for an outline first so you can put yourself in the mindset of what you need to give to chat. Okay. So look, we know that business plans come with executive summaries, business descriptions. Craig, chime in here. Is this a correct outline? If I was to give you a business plan, are these the things it needs to have? Craig's
I was
probably.
going to type it, but it's probably quicker to say, yes, it does look like for the most part, that is a basic business plan. Yeah, we've got the financials, the growth and expansion, the exit. Yeah, absolutely. Was there an executive summary at the beginning? I didn't
But
notice. Yep, executive summary. Yeah, so that is a really good outline of a business plan. Yes.
perfect. So now that we have the legal approval that this is the correct business plan, we want to
This
make
is not legal advice.
it's not legal advice. It's not legal advice at all. So hold on one second. I got a request to maximize my screen. Actually, and I'll tell you why I can't maximize my screen. I'm on the largest Mac available, and so it's putting it so that everyone can see it, in whatever screen they're using. So unfortunately, I can't make it any larger. I apologize. I'm gonna try. I'll try as much as I can. Let me see. Does that look a little better? That's as far as it's gonna let me go. That's it. Okay. All right. So let's move on. Now that we have our business plan outlined, remember that research tool I said over here, Perplexity? Let's think. Do you just know the size of your target market? Mom, do you know the size of how many high school students and parents and school districts are in the United States or the world? No, you don't, right? You don't know the information off your head. So this is the information I would take. Go over to Perplexity. I'm going to create a new chat. One of the things I want to show you about Perplexity is that it has different models that you can use. Understand which model you're using for the best things, okay? So Perplexity actually goes off of OpenAI's model, which is what we're using right now for ChatGPT. It also uses DeepSeek's reasoning model. Remember how I said all AIs don't operate the same? It's not all the same thing. The Pro is Perplexity's model, and then they're bringing in reasoning from these other two. Now, the beautiful part about this, and Craig and I had a conversation about this yesterday, was that DeepSeek is a Chinese AI, right? It's holding Chinese data. However, this model is hosted in the US, right? So if you're concerned about where your data is going and who's hosting it, if you're using DeepSeek's model on Perplexity, it's hosted right here in the US and it's not gone overseas, okay? But for this, you would choose which model to use. I typically only, okay, I'll tell you in a second. I typically only use the Pro because it gives me everything I need. The Pro version gives me the sources, give me detailed answers. I'll move on with that. DeepSeek is China's model of ChatGPT. The reason why DeepSeek came in the news and became such a thing is because they proved that our US tech bros don't need as much money that they do to do the same thing that DeepSeek has produced, right? So what DeepSeek has done with, what OpenAI has done with $60 billion, DeepSeek did with 6 million, right? And it definitely did change the trajectory of what technology looks like right now and how we're doing things and how we're charging people, and just bringing up a new kind of flexibility, which is good for us because that's what we want, right? We want AI to be accessible to everyone and not have to charge crazy prices to use it. So that's DeepSeek, okay? Perplexity is the model that we're using right now, and I'm going to use the Pro account. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to give it more parameters. What is the market size for globally and across the US? As someone that's currently talking to investors, they like to see that you've done your research. Do your research, okay? Don't just put in whatever ChatGPT is giving you. Actually have some data behind what you're talking about. Research, right? This is where it's coming from. It's giving you the models. This is where you can find out where they got it from, okay? So now that I have this information, and I'm just going to work on the target market size of the business plan for right now, just because I want to be mindful of time. And I'm going to take all of this information right here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to put it back over here to GPT. Okay, let's say complete the executive summary. Right? I'm gonna have to go back and copy again. So I'm gonna answer these questions for chat. I just copy what it needed. I'm gonna give the business. The business name is Empower Life Coaching. The founder is Crystal Life. That's the style. We got all that. That's good. That's good. Right. And so this target right here, that's where I'm going to go and get this. Oh, let's stop highlighting. I'm going to put this information in here just so you can see the difference between giving it actual parameters and actual information versus what it will produce for you. Okay. That's all there. All right. So boom. Let's do the executive from me first. Another thing you need to know about AI is while you think it's super powered, it's really not, right? It can only handle so much at one time. So even if you gave it all of the details at once, it may create the business plan for you, but it's going to be very small, right? It's the goal of it is to give you bite-sized information so it completes the task. You want to kind of push that level of thinking. Okay. So you see how it took all that information that I got from Perplexity and created a short bite-sized segment to put into the business plan. Not legal advice, Craig, but how do you feel about that target market valuation right there?
I think it's decent to start, but I wouldn't, in my mind, I would not trust the AI on the target market. I think a business owner and somebody going into a business really needs to do research and investigation outside of that. So it's a good start, but I would then look to verify the statistics. Are they accurate? Um, is there something more you can glean from just that small statement there?
Right, right. And that's the point, right? We don't want this to be where you take it, run to investors for, right? You should be doing your own investigation. You should be doing more research, but this is a good thing to get you started off, right? One to give something to say, hey, I am putting my work in to give to somebody else, and this is what it looks like. But of course, always go back and do your own research, add to it, go do some case studies, go do some user research to make it happen. Okay. Royanne has a question for you. You send it to me personally, Royanne, but I'll tell it to him. He wants you, Royanne's asked me to suggest best target market research tactics for entrepreneurs.
Oh, goodness. I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to answer it depends. Um, because it depends on what your business is and what the industry is and what really you need to sort of outline in this business plan.
Did
I,
I?
I would say that I would need to know, I mean, for me, I would need to know a lot more about what the business is before I could even really suggest potential research platforms for it.
So I know Royanne does travel agency.
So I would look to, just as an aside, Google Scholar is a great research tool. Um, and I would ask Perplexity to go into more depth on the target market for a travel type business. The thing that I found with Perplexity, so you have the business plan there with the target market. I would pull out that target market and say, okay, based upon this very limited target market that was created, tell me where to get more research and statistics to support what I'm looking for. If I'm trying to market on a certain platform, I would ask Perplexity for that information. And what Perplexity will do, I don't know if you can see it, but in each of those little sentences, there's a little number, a little footnote that will actually link out to where it's getting the information from. That's one of the things I really like about Perplexity.
You guys see that? I just did what he said, do.
Yes, thank you, Craig.
There you go. See?
Okay.
What I'm learning is that the more detailed you can make these prompts, the much more specific your information will get. Um, and at the end of that, Kayla, if you scroll to the end of what it came up with, it's going to say, you notice it says related. So it'll give you other suggestions for prompts that may help further your research.
You guys see that? It's a joint class, y'all. If you have knowledge, you go ahead and share it. This is what we do. We want to make sure that you get this and you get it correctly. Thank you for that, Craig. I just went and clicked
Of
something.
course. My pleasure.
The more that we can share information, the better we can advance, and the less people you have showing up at your door saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. So
Listen,
So do
we're
you
all in this
suggest
together.
absolutely.
question?
So I'll pause right now for questions. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. First of all, I'm just in shock mode. I've never heard of Google Scholar, and I've used Google my entire life. And second of all, I've heard of the name Perplexity, but I didn't know like how in depth it was. So do you suggest using Perplexity over ChatGPT?
I suggest using them hand in hand. ChatGPT is going to give you outlines, prompts, all those different things, but Perplexity's strength is research. I wouldn't use chat for research. I've tried chat for research. It doesn't give you, it doesn't.
Not nearly the depth and breadth of Perplexity. ChatGPT is good for content writing. It is. Perplexity is a research tool. Absolutely.
ChatGPT is great for content writing, as he stated, and it's also good with restructuring your writing, right? So let's just say
Yep.
I'm a person who I can identify if someone's used ChatGPT because it's certain just identifiers, right? ChatGPT talks the same way. They haven't trained it in any particular way. So what I do to avoid that, I'm going to go to a different one. What I do to avoid that is actually give it a different prompt. I'll tell it, make it more conversational, right? This is I humanize the text, right? I also have GPT models such as my personal assistant, where it helps me secure speaking engagements and things of that nature. However, when I go into here and I say, fill out an application form, I'll tell the chat, make sure the responses are in my tone. Why? Because I've trained this model on my speaking engagements. I trained it on my workshops. It knows how I talk to clients. It knows some of the quirky things I do, and even some of the statements that I say a lot. So when I ask it to find me speaking opportunities or fill out a speaker application, it says it in my voice and it does not make it feel like it's coming from ChatGPT. Does that make sense? No problem, Lakeisha. All right, party people, it is 3 o'clock. Last time I went over and I don't want to do that now, right? Like I want to kind of stop and pause, get some feedback, get some information. Did this help? It was a short hour, but I hope you got something from it. Have you learned something? Did you get something? Perfect. Perfect. I see yes in the chat. All
Yes, it was very helpful, Kayla. Thank you for your time. But it just feels like the tip of the iceberg. So I'm already looking forward to next Friday.
Yes, come back next Friday where I'm going to show you more AI tools. I am an AI fanatic, okay? I hyperfixate on technology. I want to make sure things happen. If you have to go, please do so. But before you do, if you could scan this QR code, right? And
Hey,
leave me a
uh,
review, it'll be
Kayla,
great.
I have a question for you.
I'm listening.
Yeah. Yes. So I want to confirm you teach us how to build custom GPTs. So as right now we are filling up bid forms. Like we are my client is in the bidding uh like is in bidding site. Like he fill up the contractor's bid forms or yes. So how we train that GPT to fill the bid for us? Like we as you know, filling the bids for the construction jobs and other projects, it takes a lot of time. So
It does.
how we can train this GPT custom, or how we can create a custom GPT to like fill up the bids on behalf of us.
So I will say this, right? It's not going to fill out it for you. But what it will do is kind of speed up your process because at the end of the day, you know your business better than anyone. So I wouldn't solely rely on ChatGPT, even if you build it for yourself to just submit the form and think you're going to get the bid. As it's someone that fills out RFPs all the time, fills out grants all the time, and have won millions for my clients, right? It's never just the GPT. It's us going in there. It'll give us an outline. It'll give us a nice little, okay, this is what the RFP is asking for. But I still have to go back in and manually make sure it's answering all the questions, right? And my mom, I'm telling your business now, she's a government contractor. She does procurement, right? For what I won't say, but she does it for the government. And one of the things that we've learned, right, is that with RFPs, if you're not answering the question or you're giving too much information, they're not going to read your stuff. Okay.
Yes, and
So I will go ahead, Mom.
I'll add on to that. Yes, I have been in contracting for 33 years now. I'll be retiring in June. And I have done the scale of services to construction, which is actually my favorite, to IT services. And I'm telling you, when we get proposals in, we can tell if this is just like a generic thing that you spit out or if you really know what you're doing. We know if you're asked, and we're looking specifically to ensure that you are answering the questions that we have had and that we have asked for. Do not provide a whole lot of fluff in your RFPs, because that in itself, we get thousands of RFPs, and even when we put thousands of RFPs out there, and we get just as many proposals. So if you're not giving us exactly what we ask and you're giving more, I'm not saying don't, toot your horn, but just make sure you're answering what we're asking, and it's not just generated like Kayla's using for AI, because I'm telling you, we're gonna know that you don't really know what your business is doing. Right. It shows.
So what I will tell you is that, just giving you that tidbit, I will show you how to create a custom GPT for that. So you can fill out the RFPs, but just want to give that warning. You don't want it to do your whole application. You still want to go in there and make sure it is answering the questions. And my best advice is, if you're doing RFPs, I would take the document that they give you. If it's, this is what the RFP is what they're asking for. I'll put it into ChatGPT and I'll say, what is it asking me to do? Okay, what is it asking me to do for the RFP? What do I need to make sure I have? But even then, I still go back to the document and read it for myself, right? So we don't want to solely rely on AI, right? We want to make sure that it's correct. But what I would advise you to do is to create a custom GPT about your business, right? So go to the custom GPT, say, I want you to help me fill out RFPs for my business. Feed it all the information. I'm talking about your performance, your past performance, any certifications you have, anything that the chat is going to need, so that when you do upload that RFP to it, it can give you the accuracy on what your business looks like, right? But you still need to go back and verify. Mom, people are asking you to host a class. So we'll go down the line for that. Okay. I don't want to take up too much time, but if you did receive something from this, please come back next Friday. Also, if you got good information, it helps us out in two different ways. If you leave a review, one that gives me proof of concept, so people know that we know what we're talking about. So leave a review on Google. I'll leave the link in the chat if you just need to click it. But also, these GPT models cost money. Okay, so if you would love to support the work that we do so I can keep having this free every Friday, showcasing AI tools, please cash up us at Rebrandland. That is it right there. That's the official Rebrandland chat. It'll help me continue to do this work and make these workshops free to everyone. I appreciate you coming. Please invite more people. You'll get another notification for the next meeting next Friday. And we're just going to continue on with, learning as much as we can with AI. I also will say this: if there's things that you want to know, next week we're probably going to focus on image generation and use it in marketing. I'll show you how to do that. But if there's something that you want to know, add me on LinkedIn, right? Follow me on any of the channels, and we'll make sure that we get the information done. I like to explore AI tools. I like to give you the best that you can. And I also like to pull from everyone else's experiences that are in the room. If you have experience using GPTs or using AI, or even just in your business, right? The more we know, the better we can be. Sound good? You're very welcome.
Kayla, I just want to say thank you. Me and my team, my crew will be back. And we appreciate it. So yeah, I'm telling you right now, I didn't know about Perplexity, didn't know about Google Scholar, so we got a lot of homework to do.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys, and if you know anyone that needs AI assistance, anyone that needs some tech strategy, please look us up, rebrandland.net. We'll be here to help. Hope to see you guys again next Friday. Please, please, please leave us a review. Scan it, leave us a review. You're free to go. I'll stay behind if anyone has any extra questions.
Hi again, Kayla. It's Royanne.
Royanne.
Thanks again. I'm here now on Perplexity versus ChatGPT. I just wanted to put a nugget for travel, though. I realized that ChatGPT is giving me more information about like hotels, etc. That's one point. And the second one is, do you have any AI tools for logo making?
Okay, so let me say this about AI and image generation. Okay. You know that the AI is pulling from other sources. Okay. So what I would say is if you have an idea for your logo, I'm going to give you an image generator that you can use to kind of help you create the logo. I would still take it to a graphic designer and say, this is what I want. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we can create these like this is AI generated, right? This is an AI generated logo, period. I know that this flame came from some real artist. I would never try to trademark this logo. Does that make sense?
Yes.
However, the logos that you see here are logos that we created in-house. Cool?
Yes.
All right, so let me show you this. The image generator I love to use and my favorite thus far is called Leonardo.ai. And I'm going to show you why I choose this over all other AI models. You've probably heard of like Dolly, which is one of the first image generators that came out there, which is cool when it did. And there's some other AI models like ChatGPT is linked up with Dolly, so it can produce images for you, but they're not as accurate and they don't give you many different conversions. So Leonardo.ai, like the Ninja Turtle, like the painter. That is where I'm at. Okay, I'm gonna click image generation. Give me a what do you want to do? Like a travel logo?
Yes, so you can do a travel logo for a luxury travel agency in black, no, in blue and gold.
Agency in blue and gold. Okay, I'm gonna type it in using your prompt, but then I'm gonna show you something cool that Leonardo does, which is called improve prompt. Okay, before I go through this, understand that Leonardo has different models that you can use to create images. So based on me wanting a logo, I'll probably choose graphic design. Okay. Or if you use any of these four, that's the Phoenix models or the Flux models. These are the most realistic models, right? They're the newest additions to Leonardo, and it's pulling from experiential experience. Okay, more realistic than these models down here. But for this, I'll use graphic design, and I'll show you what these different models look like on these other ones. Okay, so let me just type in what you said, and I'm going to hit generate. Leonardo AI works off of credits, right? So you can buy tokens to use. You see it's fairly inexpensive to generate a model. 14 tokens, that's how many I have, and it regenerates every month and they roll over, which is great. So it takes a couple of seconds and boom, it gives that. Okay. I don't like this. Why? Because what are these words? Like what's happening, right? And then once again, like I told you, because it's AI, you still want to take it to your graphic designer and say, this is the concept. But at least you can get started with something like this. Maybe I change it and go to a Phoenix and see if it does it here. But I'm also going to improve the prompt. And it AI generates a better prompt for me. Okay, so now let's click generate. Let's see what it comes up with. Also, Royanne, if you like any of these, just let me know and I'll send it to you.
Thank you. I have an AI tool on Canva, and it seemed to have brought up similar designs. So I'm wondering if it's somewhat integrated with Canva.
So how can I put this in layman's terms? Canva is its own platform. Every AI has its own connection, right? So the AI models that we know for language generation, Canva's just using that model, right? ChatGPT is also using the same sort of model. Does that make sense? So think of it as like a wrapper for the actual thing.
Yes.
Make sense? Okay. So you see it comes up with different ones. What I have been in love with here lately, I'm going to take the same prompt, and this might help you too, Royanne. I'm going to click flow state. Flow state allows me to get the same prompt, hit generate, and because it's infinite, it's going to bring me up a whole bunch of different versions of what I'm trying to do, right? So let's just say I like this one. That's cool, but that's not exactly what I want. I'll click more like this, and it'll keep generating more models based on what I want. Let's say I don't want the lighting to be foggy. I can go in here and change it to backlit, right? Hit generate one more time, and it'll give me a different output. Okay. So you can continuously scroll, find something you love,
Okay,
right?
these are looking better.
Yeah, you get it? You see it? So you can keep scrolling. It's not going to stop. It's just going to keep generating over and over and over again until you land on something. And then you can keep clicking and click more like this. Let's say you actually land on one you like. Let's say I like that one. I always upscale the image, put it to the highest setting, make sure it's upscale, and so that when you download it, right, it is an actual like high def version of the picture.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Did that help?
Yes, it did. I'll go on it now to explore.
Leonardo AI. That's what you want. Leonardo AI.
Thanks, Kayla.
No problem. I'm going to send the recording out, Cam. I'll send it
You're
out.
amazing. And I'll be back. We'll be back.
Yeah, see you next Friday.
Peace out. My crew, we can go.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Leave me a review, please. Mohammed, you still here?
Yes, I'm getting out. Thank you so
No,
much
no,
for
you don't
today.
have to leave if you don't want to. Do you have any other questions? Or are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. And I'm
Okay.
excited for the next session. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Kyla.
See you next Friday. Bye.
Bye. Take care.